Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King, and as always, we are so grateful to have you with us tonight. As we continue to celebrate Black History Month, we're shining a light on artists who are not only preserving a rich legacy of Black music, but also using their gifts to heal, inspire, and uplift. We are excited tonight to have actress, singer, and songwriter Kia Bennett with us, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a fantastic show. First of all, getting to know Kia. And believe it or not, this is her second anniversary. She was here 2 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, and she will be performing for us tonight as well. First, let me start by sending a heartfelt Happy Father's Day to all of the amazing fathers out there. We celebrate you this Sunday, June the 15th, because your work, and I'm talking to fathers, your work is very, 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 very special. So we are saluting you. And just a few days later, on June the 19th, we will pause to honor Juneteenth, our country's celebration of freedom and the continued fight for equality. And Lord knows you all better celebrate on June 19th, because I know if you're like me, you're not feeling like there's a lot of equality, but we have to fight for what we have. So June 19th is Juneteenth. And on a personal note, and yes, I'm going to say it out loud, this Monday, June the 16th, I'll be celebrating my 66th birthday. I am thankful. I am grateful. I am blessed to see another year. And today I got to show you all, right before the show started, let me open it up to show you my brothers that sit on this show with me. And I hope I don't get this all over me. They had delivered today. Let me do it. It's a live show. They had some cupcakes delivered to me. I don't know if you all can see them, but as if I need a cupcake, but they had them delivered to me. I love those guys. Thank you so much for being so thoughtful. I really do appreciate all of you. Now, if you're in Washington, D.C., if you've been trying to get around town, you know that there will be major road closures, and they're already underway due to Donald Trump's $40 million military birthday celebration. I don't know why in the hell he's doing it. Event this Saturday, June the 14th. If you're planning to be out and about, pack your patience, okay? And I think we have I think we have a map of how many areas are like closed because of all this. It's just absolutely, it's just crazy. Look at all that. That's half of Washington, D.C., if you all don't know already. All right, but again, pack your patience with that. Sadly, this week, we lost two individuals who touched so many lives, ladies and gentlemen. First, we have Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone. He passed away at age 82. He was the music fabric of my life and many other people. And he leaves behind a legacy that shaped music for generations. And also, former MTV VJ Ananda Lewis lost her battle with breast cancer at just age 52 years old. Our hearts and prayers go out to the families of Sly Stone and, Ananda Lewis and all of the fans that love them. And finally, closing out my moment of the week, I said I'm not going to set foot, if I can help it, into the Kennedy Center. But last night, Donald Trump made a visit to the Kennedy Center for Les Miserables and was met with something a little less musical. A chorus of boos from the audience, and there were drag queens. I don't have pictures of the drag queens, but it's been trending. I wish I was there for that, to see the humiliation on his supporters' faces, okay? I wish I was there for that, but that's my moment of the week, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Welcome to my birthday show, if I can say it again. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, so sit back, relax, And if we can, let's get on with the chat. Hey, boys.
Happy birthday to...
Wrong song, Bobby. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, Steve. Well, just know it is Monday, so you all will be singing it again, okay? Save your vocals. How you guys doing tonight?
Glad it's Friday.
Yeah.
I would quote Michelle Pfeiffer from Batman, 4-5, I'm still alive.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. Bobby, I see that you've been out and about with graduations this week.
Yes, we had commencement today, and the class has gone on to do wonderful and great things. We had a great day for it. It was a little steamy, so I didn't stay in that suit jacket too long, but all is good. Yes.
Okay, well, welcome to the show tonight. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who tuned in last week, you all were really on top of it. Bobby, Sean, and I tried a new segment, so we're gonna try. We're gonna stay on that same road, if you will, and we want to have a conversation with you, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for one of the most important parts of our show tonight, our chat, and we're gonna do a State of America, and we want you, the viewers, to join us in the conversation. A lot is happening in the country right now. Immigration raids, military actions, political power plays, even billionaires fighting in the White House. Yeah, that's happening in the White House too, as if you all care. We are going to throw out a few questions like we did last week, and you all were so connected, and know that you know how we do. And we want you to drop your thoughts in the chat or post your comments. Let's talk about where we really are in this country. And you know what? I'm going to do this for my producer, because what we're going to talk about tonight on this this immigration conversation, I want to make sure that we put a link up for people where people can go and get support. The Immigration Defense Fund, if you can, because there's a lot that's going on, and I don't have all the answers, and I don't know if they do, but at least you can go there. So I'm going to go ahead, if you guys don't mind, Bobby and Sean, and let's talk about this immigration and ICE raids first of all. Let me ask you guys, first of all, why do you think the Democratic-led states are being so heavily targeted by the ICE raids? And do you see this as a political move or a national security measure, or both?
It's strictly political.
I think it's both. I think it's a little bit of both. I think that we have a leader who believes very much in revenge actions, being very vindictive, and sees themselves above any kind of rule or regulation or law. And I find it impossible to believe that it's coincidence that so much of these raids and some of these most important issues are happening in states that are deemed blue. They still have citizens, American citizens, of all political beliefs and experiences and lifestyles and all of that. But if they just happen to be led by or deemed a state that is more leaning in a democratic direction, then they are targets.
Well, that's exactly why I think that is completely solely political, because there are just as many immigrants in states like Florida and Texas. The thing is that Los Angeles in particular is headed by a Black mayor and is headed by a Governor Gavin Newsom, who is being talked about as being the next big candidate on the side of the DNC.
Absolutely.
So this whole thing, if it was solely about national security, we would see it basically across the entire country. And keep in mind, with LA, it was only about 4 city blocks in terms of the raising and the riots that took place. It wasn't the entire
city. Portrayed as that, right? That's being portrayed. In fact, our president has said several times, if it weren't for his support or his action, California, the city of Los Angeles would be burning down.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
So let me ask this question. So how should state leaders push back against federal overreach when it comes to ICE operations? Should governors take stronger action, or are the hands tied? Your
Yeah,
thoughts?
I'm gonna say I think they should push back as much as they can, exercise every bit of power that they have. My problem with that is, what power do they have? It seems as if with everything being controlled by, the Senate, and and Congress is being controlled by Republicans, not to mention, if you take it higher legally, he has stacked the court. So how can,
But see, Republicans are trying to have it both ways. Republicans they're the first to claim states' rights. That's what abortion thing was about. The abortion thing was about giving it back to the states. States have the power.
Right.
Okay, but now you're saying that, because you have a state, the fourth largest economy in the entire world, California, okay, they can defend themselves, they can support themselves, but all of a sudden they don't have any rights when it comes to their own sovereignty.
Yes.
It's hypocrisy at the utmost.
At the highest level. I completely agree with you that it is 6 in one hand and half dozen in another. They want them to be very independent, autonomy. Even most recently with, like, say, the dissolving FEMA, for instance, the whole notion of really getting rid of a national support network for emergencies and so forth. Other states should be able to handle. Well, the states don't have that kind of funding.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't. But since we're moving, like you guys have both mentioned, California, what about the military action in California?
Well, and there you have it. President Trump has expanded domestic use of armed forces, testing the limits on involving troops at protests in California. Most recently, there were over 4,000 National Guards deployed there and over 700 Marines most recently. And there are experts on domestic military involvement who say that Trump's actions, at the very least, stretch the law. Your thoughts?
Well, guys, I go back and forth with Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. I've been following his career since he was the mayor of San Francisco when he was a young man. So I've been following this man for about 25 years, if not more than that. And I still go back and forth. Women, I'm hot. Women, I'm cold. So I think that, to answer your question, Bobby, in terms of is this a dangerous precedent being set? Yes, it is. It's a very dangerous precedent. But you got people like Gavin Newsom who are trying to stop that precedent, in terms of calling him out, telling the Orange Man that he is straight up lying.
Right. Yes, Gavin Newsom has exactly tried to utilize the legal system to prevent this national, what is considered an overreach in many instances in terms of the deploying of Marines. And as you said, I mean, it's being depicted as being out of control. And it's certainly not what I saw on January 6th is what I'll say.
Yeah, very true.
Very true. And I wish I could Google it, but wasn't there a senator in California? Was that in California? Most recently that he went there to check on his constituents, and he was pulled out. Was that California? I think the woman Nome.
It was a press meeting with the Homeland Security Secretary, and he was going to kind of raise some concerns about his constituency and so forth. And he was roughhoused. Yeah.
And there was also Maxine Waters. And please forgive me, because I know a lot of people love Maxine Waters, but I'm like, what are you going to do? I'm sorry, but you don't need to be trying to bust your way through some kind of door and then get all dramatic. Again, like I said, I have much respect for her, but her approach was completely wrong, in my opinion. And I think what one has to do, but what we said earlier, is do what Gavin Newsom has been doing. And Bobby, you said it. You got to go down that legal path, because if you do not, again, you're going to set a precedent where we're going to be even more chaos. So we can't have, so I don't know. And I think it was a congressman actually who was manhandled, or was it, you said senator or was it congressman?
I Senator, I'm sorry, I wanted to Google it because I wanted to give the viewers his name if they haven't seen it, but they literally threw him on the ground
Yes, Alex Padilla,
and pulled him out of there.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was absolutely insane. So, you know, it begs another question.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you feel safe knowing that the president can call in the military force without within our own borders? And where should the line be drawn, you think?
Well, he has too much power. First question, the answer to your first question is hell no. Let me just go, hell no.
That you don't feel safe.
I don't feel safe.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I don't feel safe at all. I just don't feel safe with much of anything that he has that revolves around him right now.
I agree with you.
Yeah, so
I agree with you. And our listeners know that the three of us live in DC.
Mm-hmm.
And so in many ways, we have a front row seat to why, Alvin, I'm sure you feel the way, like if you live in the DMV right now, you realize we are being inundated with like military equipment in a way for this parade that we've just never seen anything like this. And it doesn't, whereas under other conditions, it might make you feel safe and comfortable. It certainly does not make one feel comfortable.
Here's
well, certainly not my pockets, because we the taxpayer, we're paying for this $40 million.
Actually, it's 45, I think, is what they're estimating now. It's even higher than that. Yes.
Yeah, and here's a reason why I don't feel safe with this, and that's because people don't realize who is in the military. Okay, now we're talking about we're talking about the Army, and we're talking about the Marines. We're talking about young men, a lot of them who are not with melanin in their skin, who are 18 to 25 years of age. And we know that young men in that age range are not fully developed when it comes to cognitive
frontal lobe.
That's right. That's a good point. That is a very good point. And yeah, they come right out of their mothers and their grandfathers' kitchen and bedroom full of hate. Yeah. And in addition to them not having the cognizant ability, okay, but trust and believe, a lot of them have been spewed and have been taught how to hate.
Absolutely.
And so now they have a credit card. They have a credit card to do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it is crazy. And speaking on the whole feeling safe, okay, our journalists now, these are the people who cover the stories, right? And just this week, an international journalist, Lauren Tomasi, was shot during one of the recent raids. And my question, is what responsibility does the U.S. have to protect journalists covering these type of events now? I mean, people have gone over to Saudi Arabia and when they were shooting and bombing and nobody got hurt. And here you are in Washington, in the United States of America, and you get shot. So what does this say about the press freedom in America right now, about press freedom in America?
Well, part of our current leadership has, as a campaign to discredit the media and to just really make people see them as, in many instances, the enemy. You can't believe them, fake news. You know, for someone who came up with the term alternative facts, that great irony that they are then trying to portray journalists, all journalists, as fake news and not to be trusted. And so, whereas there was a time, I believe, in the United States where journalists had certain protections, and both legally and then also from a societal perspective, those things have been whittled away as a result of this current leadership.
Yeah, the media is under attack, and I'm not a big fan of corporate media, but media is under attack. And there's another country where journalists are being killed, excuse me, and that is Israel. I don't want to equate the two because what's happening in Israel, particularly on the Gaza Strip, is not what's happening here. But for journalists to be out there trying to bring the news to the world and to be getting shot at, even with rubber bullets, is still not called for. And the government technically isn't responsible for protecting journalists, but you shouldn't have a young man in uniform purposely aiming at a journalist and shooting that person. That's what's happening in this case.
The level of disrespect that is commonplace right now is unacceptable. If you just listen to a a press briefing in the White House, and where journalists can ask a question, and they are literally told, "Well, what a stupid question," or like,
Yes.
"I'm not gonna like," or "Of course, because you report from so and so, you'd ask such a stupid question," or we're insulted that you would even ask a simple question." Like, there was a time you would never
do
hear that kind of response from the podium, and it's commonplace right now. So the level of respect for journalists is at an all-time low, and so in terms of protections, I just don't think it's there.
Well, like anything else, especially the federal government, it starts at the top. So the arrogance and the inappropriate way that the White House spokesperson is talking to all of us is a direct result of what's going on in the White House.
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's trickling down. Yeah.
Speaking of the White House, the Washington Post broke a pretty big story, and that is regarding an altercation that took place in the White House. So now Elon Musk says that Elon Musk was allegedly involved in a physical altercation inside the White House. Now, do you think these kind of public spectacles are distractions from bigger issues, or do you think they reflect the chaos happening at the highest levels of power? Okay, and again, that's according to the Washington Post. Elon Musk got into a kerfuffle with the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, and of course, he ended up with a black eye. So what are your thoughts?
Okay, it's so bad that you gotta laugh to keep from crying, to be honest with you. But like I think I said it a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week. I think it's all a gimmick to distract us from some stuff that they have up their sleeve that they're going to do. Because as far as I'm concerned, they can punch each other's eyes out. You know what I'm saying? If they need a bat, they can call me. I'll give it to them. Here, use this. Oh, wow. But no, and but I don't advocate violence, but I'm just saying, if you feel like, rather than give them a pillow, I'll give them the bat first. But I'm just saying, whatever goes on in there, it's not surprising to me, but I think it's a distraction.
I think it's all a part of a distraction. Steve Bannon, who's one of the architects of a lot of what's going on, along with Stephen Miller, they've been very clear about a strategy of what they refer to as flooding the media, constantly having things put out there that keep you going this way, that way, whether it's, and this, who cares if Elon Musk and Donald Trump are not getting along? And yet it is the top news pillar, as opposed to the potential loss of thousands and thousands of people losing the health benefits. Like, they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about these two having a spat. I don't care about them. I worry about programs that feed children not being funded and being told that it's budgetary restraints and cuts, people losing their jobs. And then, as Alvin was saying, and then us having a $45 million parade down the streets of DC that would be reminiscent of something that you would see in a country where there is a dictatorship. This is just an absolute distraction from the most important issues that are facing us right now.
Amen.
It's a distraction, but we can't ignore the distraction, because what they were fighting over was Scott Bessent and Musk. They were fighting over competing pitches in terms of who should be the next head of the IRS. And that's a pretty big deal, because we know what some of them want to do with the IRS in terms of taxes and what have you and so forth. So it's a distraction, but there was a real altercation. And if it's a distraction, the way you say it is, the bigger thing they're trying to hide is the downfall of the economy, because it is falling very, very, very fast. And I'm very, very terrified, actually.
And as you should be. Well, I know we have to.
Before we move on, I also just want to say about the double standard also, because could you imagine if two people who look like us were up in the executive offices having physical altercations?
We had a moment at the Oscars.
No, well, even those of us who are not like us, if something like that was happening and we were behind it, their response would be, "Well, we expected that. We expected you to do that." Exactly. And again, I'm talking of those of them who are not like us.
Yes.
And we all know a couple of them.
So I know that, I'm keeping an eye on the time, and I know we've got a really special guest that's waiting for us. But I would like to ask a final question of both you guys, but also of all of our viewers who are listening. It's time for you guys to chime in as well. So if you could describe the state of America in one word, and one word only, what would that word be? Sean?
Quagmire.
A quagmire. Oh, look at you trying to flex your road.
Look at you. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to say.
Okay, Alvin, what are you going to follow up with?
I'm just going to say disaster. Okay. Disaster.
Okay, viewers, we're chiming in here. While we're waiting for some of our viewers to chime in, I'm going to say mess. It's a mess right now.
It is truly a mess. And while we're doing that, let's say hello before we invite our guest in, and we're waiting for our viewers to chime in. How you doing, Monica? Thank you for being here tonight. Michelle Sims, thank you for being here. JJ, thank you for giving a shout out to all of us tonight. Thank you
Always,
very
JJ.
much. And of course, Michi, I love you. Thank you for being here with us tonight. Really do appreciate you. But JJ said chaos with a K.
And I heard political. I saw political as well in there.
Political. Yeah, that was from Monica. Yes, it is truly an absolute mess. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, it is Black Music Month, and we're going to have our own little Black music showcase tonight with our special guest, Kia Bennett. So if you all are ready, Bobby and Sean, let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about her. Tonight, we have the pleasure of sitting down with someone who truly embodies all of what we love about Black music, Kia Bennett. She's an incredible singer, songwriter, and actress who worked with legends who are some of my personal favorites, like Roy Ayers, D'Angelo, Ledisi, Cy Smith, who was here today performing, and Michael Bolton. She's performed on stages from the Kennedy Center to the Rock Music Hall, and she is also a leader behind the scenes with the ASCAP and the Grammys DC chapter. But what makes Kia so special is how she's using her voice, not just for the stage, but to bring comfort and healing to cancer patients through her work as an artist in residence. And through it all, she remains true to her journey as an independent artist. And she's got new music on the way. But tonight, family, let's welcome the one and the only Kia Bennett.
What's going on, family?
Hey, Kia.
I'm glad to see you all and be back.
Thank you. Well, the show is yours. Since tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna let Kia kick off with the selection before we go into our interviewing her tonight. So, Kia, it's your stage, baby. Take it away.
All right. Let's get some snaps. I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find love within. I came back to let you know. Got things for you, and I can't let go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in the days from your love to see. I came back to let you know. Got things for you, and I can't let go. Some people go around the world for love, but they may never find what they dream of. What you won't do for love. You tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, only you made me do for love what I would not do. My friends wonder what is wrong with me when I'm in the days from your love, you see. I came back to let you know. Got things for you, and I can't let go. But then I only want the best, is true. I can't believe the things I do for you. What you won't do for love. You tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, only you made me do for love what I would not do. Made me do for love what I would not do. Made me do for love what I would not do. I won't be neglected, I won't be denied, and the pleasure of your kisses, the pleasure of your smile, I think you take for granted that I'll always be here. And just because I love you, I don't mean none of this affair. Been so long, I miss you, baby. It's been so long. I miss you, baby. It's been so long.
Woo!
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Kia Bennett's in the house.
Kia Bennett all up in it.
Thank you. Thank you. One of my favorite songs. Wow.
I'm going to acknowledge that blend, a little Bobby Caldwell, a little Anita Baker, a little bit of what you want to do for luck. Come on now.
I had to put my speaker on mute because I can snap. Okay, I can snap. And I said, no, we can't let everybody hear that. Thank you.
Thank you. I get to ask the first question this time, or this time here with us. So Kia, obviously, thank you again for that wonderful jazz rendition of that blend of What You Won't Do for Love by Bobby Caldwell and Anita Baker's Been So Long. So I want to go back to the beginning. Everybody who is here with us tonight wasn't necessarily with us when you were here before. You grew up in Richmond, Virginia.
Yes.
And so I'd like to ask the question in terms of what was growing up like in Virginia in terms of music. What role did music play in your childhood, and whether or not there might be one or two memories that inspire you still today musically?
So, my parents met at Virginia State University.
Okay.
They met at band camp.
And band camp. Come on now. I love it.
They met at band camp in the choir room. My mother was in 12th grade on her way to Virginia State. My father was a freshman. And my mother played flute and my father played trumpet. And they both were in the orchestra. They both were in the choir, started by Larry Blaine in the volunteer choir. And they both sang, and my mother played handbells, and my father has a group that he tours with right now. They're called Back in the Day. So they do like 50s, 60s, 70s doo-wop. And they are like the thing, they happening. Like they up and down the East Coast doing their thing. And so I think it was meant for me to be. So guess what else? So after they graduated,
yes,
I think my mother was 3 months pregnant with me, and they got married, right? They both sang to each other at the altar. So I felt like at that point, I was kind of being anointed at the altar.
So and it clearly played a very big role. It's clearly played a big role.
Yes. And so after that, I was born or whatever. The song that my parents were, they sang to me at my, what do you call it? The christening at church. Mm-hmm. I was born in September 76. And so Isn't She Lovely by Stevie Wonder came out. So that was the song that they both sang to me at church, once again at the altar, while I'm getting.
I love all the singing at the altar. I just have to tell you, I love all the singing at the altar.
Yes. And so what's crazy is that, so my father was a teacher. And we were supposed to go to our zone school, but we didn't. They wanted us to be closer to him, right? So my elementary school was a performing arts elementary school. And it just so happened to be the school that was near my father's school where he taught. And then by the time I got to high school, I did go to my zone school, and that was a performing arts high school. So it was no way around me not being around music. And all of my family sing. My grandparents, my uncles, my brother, my sister, everybody. Like I have a brother, he has an album out. His name is Dwayne Folks. And he sings too. Like, so we all sing. I come from a singing family.
You come from a singing family. Wow.
Singing family.
Right?
So it was divine, in other words, definitely divine.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this then. So how has your family support shaped your confidence as an artist, especially during moments of challenges or transitions?
Well, I'm going to be real. It started in church. You know, church always support people. But, you know, when I went to Howard, you know, they were like, oh, well, you know, just like any parent who wants something, you know, sustainable for their kids, I had to major in something that they thought would make me some money. And I really wanted to, you know, major in music. They were like, no, I'm spending this money. You need to do something. So I majored in marketing, right? So that's cool. And so, you know, I'm going to say when I finished Howard, I worked at like BET and XM Satellite Radio and the Washington Post, all in marketing and entertainment. Mm-hmm. But when I got laid off from XM Satellite Radio, I was like, okay, God, we about to do it for real, because show me how to utilize my God-given gifts by singing, and show me how to get paid from doing the same thing. And I've been blessed, right? But see, I'm gonna say, you know, Black folk don't believe nothing until they see you on TV or the radio, right? They not gonna support you,
right?
Get a job,
right? Right.
Well, I know that's out of love. You get what I'm saying?
Amen. Tough love.
I showed them that I was booking shows and making money. They couldn't say nothing else to me. So this is how I found out my father really, really supported me. For my birthday, he bought me an iPad. He bought me some speakers. He bought me some music equipment, some microphones. So he didn't have to say anything. His actions showed me, I support you. I see what you're doing.
That's it. That's it.
And then everybody, you know, they come to my show. They buy tickets. Nobody in my family gets free tickets. I know that this is my job. So, you know, all y'all that, you know, go get a job. This is my job.
Yep.
Well,
support me. And they support me.
Since you're in marketing, I'm gonna give you my number so you can call my family and tell them that same thing. And so I'm going to do that. But Kia, I want to talk to you. You are an independent artist. And I want to definitely speak to people who are watching this who are also independent artists. So you work with major artists like Roy Ayers, D'Angelo, Ledisi, Michael Bolton. How have those experiences informed how you navigate the music business independently?
Oh, yeah. So the beauty of being an independent artist is that you're the boss. You don't have to have the headache of reporting to someone for some deadlines. You don't have to have the pressure of putting out new music every single time, because guess what? Your music is going to be new to somebody every single time, right?
That's it. Yeah.
I've learned from them how to put on a show, how to hire musicians. I learned what to do and what not to do through them, just from me being involved. I pulled what I think I could learn for me and apply it to what I do. I learned how to lead a band. I learned how to write songs. I mean, like working with Angie Stone, I was singing background for D'Angelo. She's the one that taught us all of our parts. She taught me about dynamics and harmony and how, you know, and like the business of music. So right now, I've taken everything that I've learned from all these people that I've worked with, and I teach Entrepreneurship 101, basic business for visual and performing artists. Because if you're learning to do this and you want to do this as a profession, you need to have the basic business of learning how to be a working artist, a professional artist. You don't have to be famous in order to be successful. You have to have more than one revenue, you know, stream to make it work. You can be a working artist. Like you can get grants. Like I've got numerous grants from the DC Arts Commission to do what I'm called to do. I work as a teaching artist with the YAMS program and Joe's Movement Emporium. It's Blacks in the Arts too. And I also work in the music and healing arts program in Nova Shore Cancer Institute, Georgetown Lombardi Cancer Center, and Virginia Massey Cancer Center in VCU. And I started doing all this after my mother died of cancer. So I felt like I needed something to heal me. The healer needed healing too.
Correct.
So this helped me to align my feelings and my hurts through music. I had to heal myself, but I was like, well, let's heal other people too. Because as my mother transitioned, as my grandfather transitioned, as my uncle transitioned, I was singing on that, beside them at their deathbed.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, I can really do this for real for other people.
Mm-hmm. So the freedom
space,
the freedom you have, like you said, you have the freedom to, as an independent artist. And as you said, something that was very important at the beginning of the show, every piece of music that you sing or that comes from you is new.
Yeah.
Without the deadline. So yeah. I received that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also I want to tell artists out there, just because there is you're in the valley right now, mm-hmm. and you're not performing, you're not making music, that does not mean that you're still not an artist. An artist is 24/7. An artist is you thinking and putting down ideas and writing in your journal, or living every day and observing life and thinking about what you want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But that's actually where I wanted to go and ask you the questions on what advice would you give emerging independent artists, especially Black women who are trying to find their voice in today's music industry?
I would say, so there are different organizations that you can join. Like for me, I'm part of the DC Grammy chapter. I've served 2 terms on the board. And people think that the Grammys just is an award show, but it's not. It's a year-round organization that promotes advocacy. You have workshops, you have professional development, and it's an organization that brings anybody who has anything to do with the business of music together. Mm-hmm. You need to find your people and work with people and navigate and network through your industry. Community is number one. You have to find your people, even if it's just like Facebook groups for independent artists, or you go to open mics, you go to karaoke. That's a start of just starting to perform and being in the presence of other people who have the shared interest as you.
I'm just glad that you said that, because it kind of goes into the question that I did have for you, Kia, but I'm just going to ask you to expound on it, just a little bit more. As you said, I said in the introduction, you as an ASCAP, which is, you're in the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers. You're a board member and the Grammys governor.
So I'm not a board member of that. I'm just a member of the ASCAP, but
okay,
I'm a board member of.
Okay.
Grammy.
Thanks for the correction. But you are affiliated with them.
Oh yes.
And, yes. And so how do you advocate for independent artists and protect their creative rights? Or is that a platform where you can do that?
Yeah, so we do that through it's called Grammys on the Hill, where we all go to our senators of our state senators, and we have a specific day that we'll go to on the Grammys on the Hill, and we go advocate for our rights for fair pay, publishing. I mean, anything that has anything to do with how we get paid and are recognized the correct way, we advocate for that.
That's good.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. But then can you tell us then how has the business changed since when you first started, and how have you had to adapt as an independent artist in this digital world that we are living in today?
Yes. So when I was younger, when I was at Howard, we didn't have, this was 94 to 98. So we didn't have social media. We didn't even have cell phones. We we didn't even have like email addresses. So right at the end of when I graduated in 1998 is when we started to have email addresses. Everything, even the way you promoted yourself, we had folders with packages with your picture, a piece of paper written out with your bio, a demo tape in a folder. And so you're mailing this to different record companies. You're mailing this or delivering it to places like WHUR and radio stations. And you really had to be in the know with someone who already had like a bomb ass Rolodex. You know, like it was none of this.
You couldn't put it on TikTok. It was no TikTok.
No. So just imagine the magnitude, like these young kids, they don't understand the magnitude of Michael Jackson and how he's reached the world without social media.
Wow.
Like without social media.
That's a perspective.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so what kind of, you know, so we've been from vinyl in the 70s, we've been to CDs and tapes to now streaming, which is whack because people used to, they like to have something in their hand. I used to spend all day at Tower Records, spending my whole little $300 part-time check.
Dating yourself, Tower Records, I love it.
Yeah. I spend the whole day listening to songs and buying up CDs and opening the CDs, looking forward to listening for the first time, reading the liner notes of who produced it, who sang on it. That was an exciting part of listening to music back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Wow,
that's true.
And so now we have streaming, which is whack because, you know, it's not like how you're in a house and you have a nice stereo. Remember those big stereos that come up here with the speakers? You can't even hear music the way we used to hear it back in the day.
Wow.
Wholeheartedly. You can't even feel like the thump.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
Things have changed.
That's true. So I want to move in a slightly different direction here. Now, obviously, we know that music is a universal language. It moves us and speaks to us and resonates with us in a lot of ways. But what I'm really interested in hearing about and fascinated about is your use of using music as a healing source as well. You've been an artist in residence in cancer centers. Tell us how that started for you.
Oh, so that started, you know, right after my mother died. My friend Tamara Wellens, who she asked me to just come with her to Georgetown one day because she knew that I wanted to do this and she was already doing it. And I saw the reactions from the patients, the staff, the doctors, and then, you know, they're really like statistics to show that music is healing, right? Music uses the whole brain when you listen to it, not just half or one other half. You use the whole brain when listening to music. So, you know, you can stabilize your blood pressure by listening to music, depending on what frequencies you're listening to. But because, you know, music is high vibrational. And that's why it's important to be careful of what you're taking in, you know, because words are seeds that are planted in our minds and they produce fruit of the same kind. So you can't be out here singing Dolce's song Anxiety when you don't want anxiety. You know?
I'm sorry.
I listen to all type of stuff, but I'm strong enough to not let it consume me.
Correct.
Because I'm listening to Lil' Kim. What? You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to Lil' Kim.
And what does that do? What does that heal? No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
okay, stick to that. Okay.
That, you know, your decisions are not based on what you listen to. Although that's not true for some people. And record companies know that.
Yeah.
They know that's how they make their money. Correct. Yes.
And doing your healing,
the healing of music. Yes, I love that.
Yeah. So in doing that kind of work, you know, using music to heal people, what have you learned from your patients and the families that you work with and you serve?
You know, it goes beyond me singing. Sometimes people just want somebody to talk to that they can relate to. because my mother died of cancer. So we're sharing stories. We're sharing stories of healing. We're sharing inspirational quotes. We're sharing books. We're just sharing. We share prayers. We talk about God a lot. It goes beyond the singing. We really do talk about spirituality and God and the healing and inspiration of prayer. And then I end up singing some gospel music too. And look, and this is what they mostly ask me. They were like, Kia, so what's the first song you ever sung in life? And I'll sing it for you real quick. I think I was 6 in church. And it is sign me up for the Christian Jubilee. I said, write my name on the road. I said, I've been changed. Since the Lord has lifted me. I want to be ready when Jesus comes.
Hallelujah.
Now, see,
I'm 6 years old singing this now.
you took me right to church. The first thing when that last question that Sean asked you, and the way you answered that, it made me miss being in a choir, because that's something that before COVID that we would do. We would go into the prisons, we would go into the hospitals, we would go to the children's centers. And so I know that the power of music is it does heal. So I just want to know if you could share a personal story. I know we don't have much time, but if you could share a personal story about how you approach performing for a patient or patients who are facing some of the most difficult moments of their lives.
I do share the story of my mother, so they'll know that I could relate to them. And sometimes you're dealing with patients who don't respond, but they can hear you,
right?
Because the brain is the last thing that goes
right
now. And that's why it's so important what you say around people who are on their deathbed, because they can hear you. You can't be talking no nonsense around these people because they can still hear you. You know that?
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes, they can.
They're still alive and they can still hear you. They probably can't respond or move, but they can hear you, and the brain is still working, so they can hear you. So a lot of the times they may not respond, but sometimes I may see an eye open.
Right.
Or
finger move or something like that. Yes.
Yes. So because that lets me know that they're there.
Right.
And they hear it. Yes.
Thank you.
Woo, I'm telling you. Okay, so Kia, in terms of your projects and current work, Duet of Daffodils, am I correct with that title?
Yes.
Yes, is out right now, and that's a single at this point. Are there plans for a larger project, a collection?
So let's talk about Duet of Daffodils. Duet of Daffodils came out in 2012. That was a collection of songs I did on other people's albums. I just wanted to put that out just to get the ball rolling. You see, when I put that out, my mother died. So I didn't have a chance to promote it the way I really wanted to. So it's been out. But it's a start. But right now I'm working on my real deal Kia Bennett album. And it does not sound like that because it's me. That album is me in other artists' spaces. It's a collection of songs I did on other people's albums.
Okay.
Now this is giving me a chance to come out the way I really want to come out. And if you're in DC, come to Blues Alley and see me in some of this new music on August 20th at Blues Alley in Georgetown. So I'll be doing some new songs.
Look at there.
That's how we roll, okay?
Yeah.
We have
Yes.
So I think you all knew that.
Yeah, so come and listen to some good music. And it's so crazy because this is my 11th time at Blues Alley. And every time I go to Blues Alley and go into the dressing room, I pray. Like when I pray, I'm calling on the ancestors. I'm calling on Phyllis Hyman. I'm calling on Nancy Wilson. Because these were the same women that performed on this stage, got dressed in that dressing room.
Correct.
I'm like, use me, come through me, and send the spirit of creativity through me.
I love that.
I can put on a good show just like you all would have. You know what I'm saying?
I will be there on the 12th. I've been spreading the word, and I got more word to spread. So I mean, on the 20th. I will be there on the 20th of August. That's my brother's birthday, my deceased brother. So I will be there. I will no. I know why I said 12, but it's a live show, so I'm not going to go there where I run.
Okay.
But yes, I will be there on the 20th. So thank you for making that announcement, Kia. And we're going to say it again before we get off the air. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, Duet of Daffodils, like you said, that was a collaboration. So what is your process like creatively when you're writing for yourself versus working with other people?
Well, creativity comes and goes. That's why I haven't had the album out yet. It's been how long? 2012 is such a long time ago. Like Maxwell says, sometimes you got to live life, have something to write about. And I have plenty of things to write about. I'm just trying to figure out how to say these things because being an artist is so vulnerable. I have things that I'm ashamed of, but I know other people could relate. You know, and and you just have to put it in just like a direct but beautiful and poetic way. And so I'm just that's what I'm trying to do right now. And so I have a cool band that I'm working with. They call Control the Room. So they've been playing, different places with me. They're from Richmond, so they'll be at Blues Alley with me, and so I'll be doing some things with them in the studio too. But yeah, like being an artist is very vulnerable. So I have some things I do want to talk about, but it's like as an artist, you're scared because you're putting all your business out there. But you have to realize that it's so many. It's not just you; it's other people that go through this and feel like this.
Yeah. Let it go. Hey, look, we have a question that I'm going to bypass one of my questions that I have. Dr. Toole, thank you for joining us tonight. Dr. Toole says, how do you feel about the Kennedy Center takeover since you performed there?
Yeah, it's not nice. It's not the same climate when I performed there. And I give kudos to all the artists who don't want to perform there. But at the same time, we have it's such a historic space that they do still have like some performances there, especially like African American artists. And it just would be a shame for them not to perform there because of the name. Because let me just tell you, the Kennedy Center, by me having the Kennedy Center on my resume, opened so many doors for me.
The doors.
So I would recommend it for that. And people know beyond Donald Trump that the Kennedy Center is an amazing place to perform.
Absolutely.
So I would encourage them to perform there. So they have this thing called Reach. And a lot of independent artists perform at Reach, and
or used to,
right? Or the Millennium Stage,
or used to,
or used to,
or used to.
Yeah, but
But yeah, the climate has definitely changed, and I think as Alvin and I commonly prior to the change would run into one another at the Kennedy Center, and I know we've both been avoiding it, so there's no question about that. But I know we are squeezed for time, and we really want to make sure that we have that final number. So I just want to ask that, I started going back to the future. I mean, back to the beginning. So I want to go back there again to when Kia was a little girl. If there's one thing, Kia, now as this young woman that you are now, that you could tell the little Kia about this journey that you've led, what would you tell her?
Well, I've actually done it. Like, you cannot care about what other people say, because other people will put their insecurities on you because they can't fathom you not having a quote unquote 9-to-5 job and still making it. You get what I'm saying? If I listen to everybody who said, "Well, you shouldn't be doing that. You need to get a job," and that's not, what are you going to do? Like, you don't even. I mean, what about health benefits? What about retirement? I'm like, I'm good.
Debbie Downers. That's what
Exactly.
we call them Debbie Downers.
Exactly.
And
And
you
what
said
I always say to the kids, I always say to the kids, bet on you.
yeah, bet on you. Believe in you. Because God did not give them the vision. God gave you the vision.
Correct.
Bet on you. Yeah.
And if they had it, they would be doing it. But instead, they're trying to pull your coattails. So preach.
That's right.
Kia, thank you so much for that. Thank you for those words. And it was so great getting to learn more about you and what you're doing. And, you know, this is Black Music Month, you know, and you are part of that. And, you know, as someone who, as a journalist, interviewed many recording artists over the years, I'm very humbled and honored to have the opportunity to be part of this forum with Alvin and Bobby to talk with you. And so with that, you know, being part of Black Music Month, what does it mean to you personally be part of that lineage? You mentioned Phyllis Hyman earlier. You mentioned Nancy Wilson. You sang Anita Baker. You're part of that list of Black artists. So what does it mean to you personally?
Listen, I feel blessed to be a continuation of the rich legacy of Black music in America and the world, because I grew up listening to Luther Vandross and Anita Baker and Regina Bell and Phyllis Hyman. I mean, I am of that age because I'm 48, right? When I was younger.
You look like you're 27, 35.
It works. It works.
Thank you. Thank you.
That Richmond water.
It don't crack.
So I feel like for these younger kids today, that I am of that age where I discovered Anita Baker and Phyllis Hyman. Like they're my age now where I discovered when I was younger. You get what I'm saying? So I need to continue this, because a lot of the time I feel like record companies and radio, they ignore this demographic of 35 to 70 plus. We're the people that spend money to go to concerts. We're the people that miss R&B music with a change in the bridge and live instrumentation.
Come on now.
So I just feel like if record companies would just know that they're missing out on a whole demographic, you need to market R&B artists like your pop artists. That's the only thing. You market us like we're pop artists and let us keep the same music.
Preach.
Well, Kia, of course, you know, we can keep you here till Sunday, but while I tell people and reiterate what where you'll be performing on Wednesday, August the 20th, Kia is going to gear up for her second performance and take us out. So again, if we have, there it is right there. Kia will be performing on Wednesday, August the 20th at Blues Alley in Georgetown. If you've never been to Blues Alley before, this is your opportunity to come out on a beautiful Wednesday summer night and catch Kia Bennett at Blues Alley. I will be there. You can go to the website. Are you doing 2 shows, Kia, or 1?
Yes, 7 p.m.
Okay.
and 8:30 p.m.
She will be doing 2 shows. So even if you can, you got to go home after work and get cute or whatever, you can make it to the 9:30 show.
Same set? Same set?
Yeah, it'll be the same set.
Okay, good. Just wanted to know.
So, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for tuning in. And I'm going to turn the floor over to our amazing special guest, Kia Bennett.
Okay, so I don't have the instrumental for that because my phone died, but I'm going to give you a cappella.
Okay.
Actually, I was wanting that, truthfully. I was wanting the a cappella.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Dum, 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 dum. My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable, unphotographable, yet you're my favorite work of art. Is your figure think you're less than Greek? Is your mouth a little too weak when you open it to speak? Are you smart? Don't, baby, don't you change your hair for me. Not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine, stay. Each day is Valentine's Day. Each day is Valentine's Day. February 14th.
Woohoo! Kia, thank you. Kia, thank you for joining the show tonight and actually kicking off Black Music Month for us. Again, this is the anniversary of 2 years. You were here 2 years ago. So again, can't wait to see you in Georgetown, and we're going to close the show out with you on set tonight, so that is a blessing for us. Sean and Bobby, I always love you all doing what you all do. And to all the special guests who came out tonight and who joined the show, thank you so much. Tell a friend about us. We're on all social media platforms. He said live. Please tell a friend about us. Our words of the week this week. For generations, Black music has conveyed the hopes and struggles of a resilient people. Spirituals mourning the original sin of slavery and later heralding freedom from bondage, hard truths told through jazz and the sounds of Motown during the Civil Rights Movement, and hip hop and rhythm and blues that remind us of the work that still lies ahead. The music created by Black artists continues to influence musicians of all persuasions, entertain people of all backgrounds, and shape the story of our nation. These are words from the 46th president, Joseph Biden, ladies and gentlemen, on Black Music Month. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight. This was a great show, and we look forward to seeing you next week for another live show when we're going to get newsy with you, ladies and gentlemen, on a new episode of He Said.
He said.
He said.
And she said.
And she said. Okay. Kia, thank you. Love you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kia.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. And it's been so much fun.
Thank you. Thank
Nothing
you.
but love.
Thank you for us too. Good night, everybody.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah.